Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Pastor Yemi Omagboyiga. God bless you. I want to talk on two trending matters that are going on in Nigeria at the moment. And to me, they are all laughing or laughable matters. Laughable matters. The first one is Nathasha, Senator Nathasha versus Senator Akpabio. Laughing matter one. The laughing matter two is the declaration of a state of emergency by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria. I see these two occurrences as something that, makes us as a nation a laughable nation. I have watched the reaction or the comments of Dr. Apoki, and I've had to listen to some other comments on the television and the various debates going on these two major topics. And like I said, what I could conclude from there is that Nigeria becomes a laughable nation. And it truly shows one, the nature of politics. In fact, the nature of politics is do or die. Politics has no moral content. Politics has no religious doctrination. No, there's no particular rule that, set of rules or doctrines that I would say guides the practice of politics. It is when you get to the field of politics that you will know anything goes. Anything goes. If it is not so, all these two matters that we are talking about now, there would have been something to guide them, and there would have been a kind of set of rules or whatever that people can follow to avoid them, because definitely they both lack moral content, and human beings are moral beings. At the same time, human beings are politicians. When it gets to moral beings that we are, we'll be talking about, what is it that is good? What is it that is bad? All right? Let me take Nathasha versus Akpabio as an example. I've told you earlier, in politics, it's a game of power, and it's a game that you play without minding the feeling of your co-players. All you want is grab it all, and it's a struggle for power. And whether you that are going there have good intentions or not, is not the issue. What you need to do is you arm yourself with all the factors that could get you there. Network of people that will follow you, number one, massively. And number two, the financial base to be able to fund what it takes. Whether you get yourself enriched corruptly or honestly to amass that wealth, provided you are not caught, or EFCC, you are not in the books of EFCC pursuing you around, or whatever, nobody will bother you, so long as there is no searchlight on you as to say to find out the sources of your income. Also, another thing in politics is this, like I said, trying to garner your own network of people or followers. There are so many things that will influence that one. You have to be well networked, and you will network with the right people. And for you to win, your population must be far higher or greater than the other than those of your co-competitors. So, however you get there is not the issue, because we know that vote buying and sponsoring thugs, political thugs, and spending money one way or the other, whether ill-gotten or neatly amassed, is not a consideration, provided, like I said, you are not under surveillance. And so long as you are still not under surveillance, you know that you can get to where you are. So let us take Nathasha thing that we are talking about. You see, it's a case of morality. And morality is different from the law. What is moral may be illegal, may be legal sometimes, and not all things that are legal are moral. So not all that is moral also are legal. So there are some laws that have moral content, and indeed all laws are made to put everybody on equal pedestal and to ensure that nobody is above that law. But the moral content of it is a different thing. For instance, in the US today, the law supports gay marriage, for instance, and in some other advanced countries. That one has no moral content, we know. Even it does not have religious content. So we discover that, excuse me, please. Sorry. So as I did say, morality or no morality has nothing to do when you are in the arena of politics. There is no doubt senators are politicians. So when two politicians are fighting, there shall be no moral content. And the politicians themselves are not bothered about morality. Let's start from the beginning. The Nathasha, we knew her experiences in Kogi, and finally it was the law that pronounced her the winner, and she became a senator. It was a tug of war for her. It is so pitiable, but at least she struggled and she survived. Today, she's a senator by the pronouncement of the law. And Senator Akpabio, when you are looking at morality, I don't think as a person, if I were to vote based on morality, the antecedent of the Senator Akpabio does not qualify him to belong to the House. Honestly, if I were to vote, I would not vote for him. Talk less of voting for him to become a Senate president. And becoming a Senate president, that's what the law says. We voted him and he's rightly there occupying it. So legally, he's very, very, is our candidate. And we have no choice because the law has recognized him as our president. And now there is a battle between Senator Akpabio, between Senator Nathasha and Senator Akpabio, the Senate leader. It's an unfortunate incident. But one thing that I want everybody to realize, I told you earlier, it's not a matter of morality or or anything. You see, in terms of organization, that is when you work for an organization or you work for a boss or you and somebody you are working in the same environment. Let us take it now that both Senator Nathasha and Senator Akpabio, they are workers in the Senate and working for the overall interest, to promote the overall interest of Nigerians and Nigeria herself. That is what brought them together to the Senate. That is why they were voted to come in there and do their work. Now, let me give an example again. We are working for you and I, that are looking at me, and I. We are working for an organization. Let's say that organization is Shameless Companies Limited. Shameless Companies Limited. This company employed us to be working for them. They are into production or service rendering too. And they are after their profit. Just as, our electing these two people in particular to go on and protect the interest of Nigeria and Nigerians. That's the objective. But in the case of Shameless Organization, Shameless Nigeria Limited, what happened? We are working for that organization to make profit. So, whatever, for instance, you see there is official relationship. There is interpersonal or personal or, intrapersonal relationship. Interpersonal relationship. Now, in the process, I am a girl. You are a man. And you are my boss, just as Senator Akpabio is the Senate leader. Therefore, Senator Nathasha has reporting relationship with him. Now, in the process, for whatever reasons, he just looked at me. It doesn't matter whether I'm a wife to somebody. It doesn't matter whether I'm engaged to anybody. It doesn't matter. I don't want to look at the moral content. You don't want to look at the moral content as to, is it good for me to even approach you for matter of sexual relationship or whatever. So, Senator, this, my Oga, you yourself, you just look at me and you felt like, you understand what I mean, having me as your tonic, just as late Dr. and late Domkat Bali, General Domkat Bali will say, women are tonics, they are wines. So, you understand what I mean. So you see me as a wine that you want to taste and enjoy. And you approach me, and one way or the other, you are not lucky. I was looking at moral content. I'm a married person, and you just want me, and me, I cannot agree for you. Then, in the course, you see, we are now developing the second relationship, interpersonal relationship. I used to have a boss in those days. He would say, the first thing that brought us together here is the work we are to do for this organization. If it were feasible for us, if it is feasible for us to become family friends or personal friends or whatever, that is one thing we will be. But if our relationship at interpersonal level cannot work, we don't need to force it. We can let us do our work and go. Do your work well, I do my work well. so that the deviation from meeting the target, you know, that you may experience will not affect my work. That if your work suffers any setback and that setback will affect my own work, when I'm writing your appraisal report, I will write it exactly what you have done is what I will write. You will not be able to controvert it because it will be the truth. You may not like it. Therefore, do your work, I do my work. So I don't cherish interpersonal relationship at the detriment of obtaining the goal of the organization that set us, would bring us together. And that my boss, there was a time that one lady was, having an issue with with her because of non-performance and all that, and he had to report that she wasn't that, she was not meeting the expected standard, and that girl was trying to get back at him. And all of us in that organization, we knew the nature, the type of man that man was, who has even defined who he was before. If it is possible to be friends, we should be. If it is possible to be friends, enemies, and achieve the goal of the work, fine. If it is not possible, fine. So we knew him. So this quarrel was going on and going on at the stage. The lady just one day opened her mouth and said, I know why he's writing bad reports for me. Therefore, this is what you can see. As if we gathered together for that purpose, The moment she made that statement, we were about 7 in that department, that were present, sitting down in the same department that day. All of us in unison, we said, no, you missed it if you said this one, because we know the nature of the man you are talking about. That is not his nature. It could not have been. Now, let us compare this now with Senator Akpabio. The nature of Senator Akpabio cannot make anybody to vouch for him that he is morally upright, just as we all exclaimed at the same time, all of us disagreeing with this girl that was alleging this. And that was the end of her claim. She just had to divert. We said, say something else. But that this man was after you, forget about that. We will not believe you. But Senator Akpabio, by his antecedents, cannot be said to be at the same pedestal with this, my boss, who was being alleged of immorality here. Everybody exonerated him before he started. We said, look for another point. That's exactly what's happening. And then let me also tell you, that is why the law that we are talking about, even though you see it as an act. Yeah, sorry for the break. Now, as I did say that we told our lady colleague, that her allegation was not right. And like I said, if we want to compare Senator Akpabio's background, alleged background, let me put it that way, everything I said about Senator Akpabio is alleged, because I wasn't close to him enough to know the truth or the falsehood nature of the allegations. So, like I said, if we compared the nature of my boss with the nature of Senator Akpabio, alleged nature, they are not the same. We will say that my former boss, was morally upright. Everybody believed that he was morally upright, but not everybody believed, allegedly, that Senator Akpabio is upstanding in terms of moral content, in terms of women factor in particular. So that makes it difficult. But however, do you know what? In the court of law, the allegation that Nathasha, Senator Nathasha, brought against Senator Akpabio, allegedly, and morally wrong as it may be, and let me put it this way: for those who did not like Senator Akpabio, they will say it is true. But those who love him will say it is not true. I am neither here nor there because I don't know him enough. All I knew about him is in the pages of the social media or newspaper. So I don't know in full detail the moral level of Senator Akpabio, whether it is high or low. Now, however, when you get to the matter of law, now, Lady Nathasha is alleging that this woman did this. What I want to bring about from it is that in the eyes of the law, this factor of somebody woos me or whatever is not tenable. Is not tenable. If it must be tenable, you will really have to labor really hard. But it's not even, it's a presumption of law, let me put it that way, that, that that matter, that somebody approaches you and you don't agree, and because of that is victimizing you, is not tenable in the eyes of the law, because it is a personal matter. And even when I was in the university as well as the law school, I discovered that we're asking, this thing is obvious and people are doing it. How is it that the ladies will be used and dumped or people will be maltreated, this and that? The answer is this, that we're giving is this. If everybody is allowed to be alleging this kind of thing, organizations will not thrive, because even where it did not happen, somebody will allege that it has happened, and then somebody who is even innocent will be thrown away or will be brought low. So it's a personal matter, whether you agree for yourselves or not. It's a personal matter. This is where Lady Nathasha might have problem. But on the social media, yes, she'll be popular. I understand there are petitions or whatever, women, international women, this and then women are protesting outside. Okay, those are social protests. In the eyes of the law, if Lady Nathasha took Senator Akpabio to court today, she's not likely to win. Because it is not something that the law considered something that you can litigate upon per se. You are not talking of rape. If it is rape, you prove all the ingredients of rape, and the man is, because it would have even been nice if Lady Nathasha had played along to the point that they were on bed together, naked. Even if they are naked, in the case of rape, one of the fundamental things that you need to prove is that there is penetration. Of course, that there is no room for you to escape. All that. And if you are doing that in the house of Senator Akpabio, is it, how did you get there? Did he hypnotize you to get there? And did he still hypnotize you to put you on bed? And what did he And unfortunately for you, the law does not recognize juju. Would you say that he has used juju to conjure your brain so that you lose your mental factor or mental reasoning such that you just follow dogmatically whatever it does? So many things. So it's a dirty, that's why I say it's a laughable matter. It's a laughable matter. Before you begin to allege something, you have to really know that the ingredients are there. One, you say your husband was present where you were. The three of you were present. Your husband, why is your husband far away from you people? You said he held your hand and was taking you away, and your husband would not increase his own pace to meet, if not that you want to set him up, knowing his weakness, alleged weakness. If not that you want to set him up, or you have a motive. I mean, I can't imagine that you'll be so close that I will be so close to somebody and he will be leading my wife away in the front while I stay behind. I'm a man now. I will be jealous. I will move closer. I want to know what is happening. And he took you around to the point that he showed you so many places and that you like this place and then this is my house and this and that. If you come here and we will enjoy together, have a nice time together. And your husband is, no matter what, how long the distance is, your husband is there looking. And you now come back to say your husband was asking you, what did he say? Definitely, there is suspicion of setup here. It's a pity. Maybe Senator Akpabio himself did not, he was not wary because of his alleged nature. So he is falling into it. And how could he take you? I say, me, my wife, and a third party, we are going to somebody's house. So a third party's house. And that person will hold my wife's hand and take her around. And I would not be so close as to observe what was going on. And you can now come back to say he asked you what, and you say you are compromised. You didn't know, you didn't want to tell him what happened so that you don't rock the boat. You are playing along, which means it's a setup. We need to be very careful. Women can be very, very, very clever and smart. But in this matter, it's a laughable one because, you see, if anything at all brings Senator Akpabio to disrepute in this matter, it will not be because of this lady Nathasha's allegation. It may be because of his alleged past dealings with women. There are made so many allegations as to when a woman will slap him, this and that and that and that. We know that of, the other woman the other day that was narrating stories online. And so many other stories like that. Why would this thing be dancing, all these frivolities be dancing around him alone if there is no iota of truth? But how do you prove the truth? So this allegation is a laughable matter. It may draw the sympathy of women, it may draw the whatever, but in the eyes of the law, it's a laughable matter. It's not tenable as an excuse. If you allege that, the court will not take you serious. Politicians are in that habit. It is an industry practice, even though it's immorality, and you are inside the politics, and you are there. You either say yes or you say no. And to say now it is because of that he's kind of frustrating you may not be really completely true because you only allege, you only feel, it's a suspicion. You cannot prove it. You cannot prove it. It is difficult to prove. Another point that people say is that, okay, Senator Akpabio sat on his case. What he sat on is the Senate president. Even the allegation itself is not rife yet. And he wanted to make a point, she wanted to make a point, and the man said, no, there are orders, there are rules. And inside of him, even if it is because of that, you cannot prove it. Just a moment. You cannot prove it. So the allegation itself, like it is not right. So it is neither here nor there to say it is because of that. It may not be because of that, but you just think it is because of that. So even at that moment, it is not a matter of judgment yet. And what is even the matter? I was looking at I watched the whole episode. The man did not, even if he had ruled that day, he had not ruled in his own favor. What I'm saying is that he didn't give you the opportunity to talk when you wanted to talk cannot be said to be conclusively because he made an immoral offer to you and you rejected. If not that you are setting him up. That's my own take. Let us be careful. Women in particular. It is Nathasha's turn today. Tomorrow it will be different. But stop trapping men. It's a pity that you know that men are gullible and you are using that weapon. Whereas if you agree for the man, you will not talk. There would have been no, in fact, he will be the one, anything he wants to do as a leader there, will be the one that will call you, come, oh, we cannot conclude this matter unless our so person has said something. So let us be careful. And alleged moves to impeach Senator Akpabio and all that, it is because he may have gone into the wrong books of many people. It's a pity that men is a trap. Ripe banana before a monkey. It will take the grace, it will take discipline. If men cannot discipline themselves, then let them continue to be disgraced. Because you have a wife, you have people in the house, why are you still ridiculing yourself? It's a laughable matter. So, I think I will do the one of Fubara versus Wike. I'll do that one separately because the video, I don't want it to be too long. Ladies and gentlemen, let us be careful on whatever we do also. Let us stop setting trap for people who are weak. Yes, the one at Kogi, she won, and the law declared her. If she thinks that this one can come up like this and she will win easily, it is not going to be so. If Akpabio falls, it is because Akpabio has had alleged antecedent of one thing or the other. Is in the back books of some people. And take note, if women are going to participate in politics, you should stop using sex as a trap for men. Because, and already men are already being wary now. They are telling you, sorry, the way it is, we will not allow for women to come and be disrupting our activities. So, chances of women becoming successful politicians now are going. And you women, stand your ground. If they don't allow you to speak, stay. Leadership is, it's transient. Something could happen today tomorrow that will remove him there. So, but instead of doing that, alleging what cannot be sustained, why not keep your calm? I wouldn't ask you to compromise your moral, whatever, but if you are not into dirty games, what are you doing in this dirty house? Political arena. Then you must know how to navigate your way in such a way that you will not taint yourself and yet you will do what you want to do. God bless you. And please subscribe to this channel. Don't let us just talk in vain. It is very important that you subscribe. Like the videos so that YouTube will recommend us to others. And at the same time, press the notification button so that you get to know when we upload new videos. Pass your comments as you deem fit. God bless you. Have a very wonderful time. Bye.